Aren't you tired of just getting by, not living your dream life, and not being a multi-millionaire? That can change right now. Buckle on up. You are about to hear from the real deal. They call her the Millionaire Maker.
Welcome to the Motivation Show podcast, where we interview remarkable world-class experts that help bring out the greatness within you. Top book authors, super successful business people, and outstanding special guests that will motivate and inspire you with their incredible, uplifting stories and life-changing tips and strategies. Our goal is your success. If you desire more out of life, you've dialed into the right show. So fasten your seatbelts, friends, and let's get ready for some high-octane motivation. Now, your host, the mayor of motivation, Eli Marcus.
Our guest today is living proof that it makes no difference where you start in life. Anyone can have the life of his or her dreams. She's a money expert, sought-after speaker, best-selling author, and owner and CEO of Integrated Wealth Systems, a wealth coaching company. You're going to like this lady. I'm telling you, I got to like her real fast. Growing up on her family's farm in Nebraska, of all places. Where's that? Nebraska. She learned the value of hard work, persistence, and how to get things done, even in the face of much opposition and criticism, which we're going to get into. She began her career for the Chevron Corporation right out of college, and it was clear to her early on that there was more to life than sitting in cubicles and trading her time for dollars. Despite her own fears and persuasion from friends and family against it, she quit that job and became an executive coach. Virtually overnight, she quintupled her income as an executive coach. I'd be pretty satisfied if I could double it, but quintupling, pretty impressive. So we're going to get into that. So she has dedicated her entire life to helping men and women from all walks of life to become millionaires, even multi-millionaires, and have time to spend with their families. That's the part I want to get into. How do you become this quintuple your income and spend more time with your family? So welcome to the Motivation Show, Loral Langemeier.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks, Eli.
One of the things I want to talk with you about, Loral, is that most people think that starting a business and becoming wealthy means that you pretty much have to eat and sleep and work 7 days. And that scares the bejesus out of them, and they start to get that 9-to-5 job. Tell me about what you think about that.
Well, first of all, I would say those 9-to-5s are pretty rare because really anyone who has a career that's on salary, they take it home with them. They take it on the weekend. They travel. They're expected to travel. Even in this, post-COVID, it's okay to work at home. Airplanes are packed. We never stopped traveling. Our organization did our first mentoring program, August 2022. We stayed on track. We stayed on schedule. We just kept things going. Here's what I'd say to those fearing that. First of all, you don't know. You don't know. You're trying to also separate a personal life and a professional life. In 1999, when I got pregnant with my son, I chose to be a single mom. I knew he wasn't going to be a dad. He wasn't ready to do that. I chose, I'm walking into this. There was no victim. Oh my God, I'm a single parent. I think people use that, Eli, as a huge excuse to not being able to parent or, do things in their life. So I walked in 1999 and became a millionaire in real estate. Soon after that, gas and oil, had my son, and just took on life in a different way. So as far as how much time you give your business, it comes down to team and systems. If you don't have a good team, you don't have the systems around you, you'll end up working 24 hours a day, and you're not going to be great at it because you don't know how to do half the things it takes to run a company. I think the thing that most successful gurus and folks don't say, I was just with a friend, Rudy, who said this and reminded me, we didn't get here because we didn't get on the treadmill and start running. Right. And he said, I'm still on the treadmill. And at some levels, I think I'm at a place now because I'm 25 years older and been in this space a long time. And I have a lot of other ventures. I can get off and on the treadmill more at choice. But if you're not going out to be an entrepreneur, first of all, if you're doing it for just cash and money, you should keep a job because you got to have some passion, some purpose. I want to change the conversation. My whole mission about this is beyond Loral Langemeier and my family. I want to change the conversation about money. It's the wrong conversation. It's an employee-driven conversation, not an entrepreneur wealth-building conversation. It's inaccurate. there's just a lot of mistakes and a lot of just myths out there. And so once you kind of commit your life to a bigger thing, you get more choice.
So, Laura,
So,
you're a perfect example of someone who you have a kid, you could easily have just stuck with a great job at Chevron. How does that person, who comes to me even and says, Eli, I got a pretty good job, I got a 401k plan, I got an IRA, I get 6 weeks a year off, I've got this nice cushy job. I'm not making a ton of money. I'm making a comfortable living. I make $100,000 a year. How do they leave that job and decide to go for it?
Well, first of all, if you want to actually get wealthy, it takes living a corporate life where you have 81,000 to pay your tax code. You don't do it as a sole proprietor. You got to get incorporated, have a trust. Like, you want a bigger life for you and your family. Like, I knew when I had Logan growing up, and not that growing up in Nebraska was ever bad. I know my family's like, you pick on us. Like, no, I wanted generational wealth. And I got the book, as I told you earlier, from Dennis Waitley, called Think and Grow Rich. And when you're a farm girl from Nebraska and you read Think and Grow Rich, you're like, oh, there's another way this whole process can work. The Rockefellers could be anyone, but you have to want it. So I wanted I wanted generational wealth. I wanted to prove I could do it as a single mom. No, I'm not aware of any other single mom that's done it to date. So I wanted to do it differently, and I wanted to travel a lot. Growing up, we didn't travel, so I want to go to all over every continent. I've been everywhere but Antarctica, and I would take my kids with me. It wasn't going to be my journey; they want to be with me. I have a daughter now who's also, so my son will be 23 in a few weeks. My daughter's 15, will be 16 by the end of the year. So we grew up traveling together. I had, family support. You can call them a nanny, you can call them home help, you can call my best friend. They helped raise my kids. John DeMartini was one of the greatest mentors with my family. He said, Laurel, you grew up with a tribe, get a tribe. So I put a tribe around us, and we have had an amazing and very blessed life in what we've been doing. I would tell that person that even if you love your job, like I have people who love their job. They love being a coach, right? For either high school, pro, or college. I have pro athlete. I mean, I have so many amazing people, doctors, teachers, firemen, military. I have tons of military. In fact, my co-author, Kyle, is an Air Force fighter pilot, right? 25 years of service. So thank you for that. If you're going to stay an employee, the only way you get to live creating a wealthy life and generational wealth is corporate structure, the right insurance, trust. There's a whole structure that, honestly, this is what my passion is, Eli. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. And the problem in the financial space is everyone, right? There's lawyers that have licenses. There's financial planners that have licenses. And the reason I'm making little boxes is that is the limit. So here you have an insurance. Think about it. You have an insurance agent, you have a estate planner, you have your CPA, you have a real estate expert, and maybe you have a financial planner. Who's coordinating them? You? Like, then I'm speaking to you, meaning our listeners. My whole message is to you to educate you, not give you advice. How do you glue this team together? Everybody needs a team in wealth building. And so if you want it, you've got to structure your life differently. And that's where I start with clients. So I know that's a long answer. And I feel like I always have to answer it that way because people have the box of, I'm an employee or I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to say be both and then jump. Right. And I was both. I didn't just leave Chevron casually. Bob Proctor introduced me to Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter in 1996. And Bob said, you got to fly to Scottsdale. You have to sit at Sharon's, table, and you got to understand what they're doing, this Rich Dad book and the cash flow game. And I fell in love with it. And I said, well, who's going to distribute your cash flow game? And they're like, oh, we're focused on the book being a bestseller. I said, well, I'll do the game. So I remember I took, the game under wing. And then over the couple of months, pretty much it felt like overnight, but I quit. And I just said, I'm going to go do this. And my bridge was executive coaching because I knew how to do that. And that's what walked me into this space, was the bridge of coaching from Chevron, fitness trainer, by the way, built fitness centers, to cash flow distributor, to now who I become. So there's a bridge you all have to walk. And I think, Eli, a mistake for a lot of people is they think they can just jump and their parachute's going to open and it's all going to work out. And you're going to have some business mentors and coaches to get it in the right order so you don't kill yourself. If I'm talking financially, kill yourself.
We don't want to do that. In your book, The Millionaire Maker, you mentioned that only 7% of people really make enough money. We want to get into how actually someone like yourself, maybe you can give us an example of someone you've taken who was kind of lost along the road. They're doing maybe okay or just struggling along. And how do you turn them pretty quickly into a millionaire? What's the process?
Well, pretty quickly means they already have to have something kind of going for them, right? So even if that's, say, an executive and their wife's been a stay-at-home mom, I'll give you that example, and their kids went off to college and she's kind of needs something to do, or her kids are still in high school, but she's got, 6 hours a day, where she can actually do something. So she starts a company, whether it's, rental real estate, whether it's crypto trading, whether it's coaching, whether it's tutoring. Tutoring is such a big need right now. Whether it's have an eBay store, eBay, and sell a whole bunch of stuff in your house. I mean, I call it the 21st century lemonade stand. Just start something, but put it in a company where you can have legal deductions. Because what employees don't have is enough legal deductions. Like, I don't own this phone, a company does, right? I don't own the vehicle that's out of my parking lot, a company does, right? I mean, I don't own this office. This is funded by a company. So first of all, I have to get them understanding that companies make money because now you have opened up the door for legal deductions, 81,000 pages of amazing deductions you can write off. As an employee, you got about 13 to 23 kinds. So if you want to just live differently, you've got to make money differently. So, and once they understand that, then the rest of it comes along pretty quickly. The other thing about being an entrepreneur is you have an unlimited upside. You can make as much money as you want. There's no cap. There's no ceiling to your income. You can just continue to grow as much as you want. I've grown this company to hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and I've taken it back down and I've stretched it out. I mean, you get to do what you want given the cash flow you want. The biggest mistake of entrepreneurs is they spend too much money on one asset called their company. They don't diversify. They like immediately, I have hard rules. I call them money rules. I'll teach you all money rules. And we talk about how we teach our kids money rules in my book, which just came out May 10th to all bookstores, Make Your Kids Millionaires. So we teach you how to live this corporate life and how to, as you make it, have money rules. So make and invest is the path of a millionaire, not make, spend. So I became a millionaire and then I got a great life. Then I bought a plane and I got tons of more real estate. So I just kept making money to buy assets and cool stuff. But first it's assets, then it's lifestyle. And I think a lot of people have that backwards and they trip themselves up.
What do you think is stopping most people from becoming millionaires?
They're scared of themselves. I mean, I see it that they're scared and they don't mean, what I say by being scared of themselves, they don't trust themselves that they can do it. They've had so many self-sabotage times in their life where they attempted something and it didn't work. And they attempted again, it didn't work. And that's the same with mentors and coaches. Maybe you've spent some money on a mentor or coach and it didn't work. Maybe they didn't have a full system. I mean, when I say make a millionaire, I need 3 to 5 years to do it. Now, I've had them as short as 142 days. And just recently, I had a couple in Ohio. They were around, I think, 400 or 500. I don't know exact numbers off the top of my head, 1,000 in assets. And now well over, 2, almost now nearing 3 million. And they did it in real estate. And then he has a job and she does extra direct sales. And so they've got a cool formula on how they built it, but they did it quick. And they probably did it 12, 15, maybe 18 months, really quick. So you got to know that you really want this. And again, I have a YouTube channel, Loral Langemeier, the Millionaire Maker. Make sure you spell my name right. It's Loral, not Laurel. Loral Langemeier, the Millionaire Maker, every day, 10 to 15 minutes a day, is built for financial education. Every day, put a new money conversation. I actually think credit cards are phenomenal. I think done right, they will help you grow your life. I love good debt. I mean, I'm not Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. They are very necessary to fix you. I'm going to fix you. Now I will. I have a whole team that will fix you. You won't get me until you're fixed. And then we're going to go. We're going to grow a company. Let's get to 6 figures, 7 figures, 8, 9, and invest. So you're going to make, invest. And I teach you that pattern of how you can become it. And when people buy in, Eli, they go fast. I mean, because it's sort of like you finally had the shield woken up. Like when I got the book, Think and Grow Rich, that was my oh my gosh moment. It's like, I can do this. So until people can get that energy and that motivation and that drive, say, I'm going for it, committed, I'm going to jump and I'm going to go do it. They keep wavering back and forth. And they have this little subconscious, that Bob Proctor taught. And they have a saboteur that's like, you can't do it. You can't do it. And unless you have a mentor that pulls you forward, like I borrowed this from Bob. He always used to say, Loral, I'm going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. And I borrow that from my clients all the time. I'm going to believe in you until you can believe in you, because I know you can do it. You just can't see it. I can see it. You have to trust. I've got almost now, 25, 27 years of experience, and I got a whole team around me. We're going to pull you forward until you say yes, and then we're going to go. But you got to say yes. And that's really what stops people.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because so many people could be so much more successful if they just trust themselves to start believing their capabilities and their understanding. They can do it. Anybody can do it. You have to really want it.
So powerful. Everything just starts with the self-belief. If you just don't have that self-belief and confidence and maybe give up to a higher power, you're just never going to get started. You got to get started. All right. So Loral, you mentioned your book before, Make Your Kids Millionaires, the step-by-step guide to lead children. Obviously, we would all love to have had a manual when we were kids growing up and having our parents. We didn't have that manual. Now we do. So tell us what's in that book and why parents need to read that. What should they expect?
Well, first of all, I can acknowledge. So I have a co-author who did a lot of heavy lifting, Kyle Beckman. He's a retired lieutenant colonel, 25 years in the Air Force, Air Force fighter pilot. The reason I bring that up is he has a journey with his kids that's very different, right? Employed, lived abroad, 2 kids, did it very, very differently, but started buying real estate and stock trading. Always entrepreneurial though. So here you have an employee of 25 years and a single mom, traveled the world, like very different. When I said yes, if I wanted to buy something, I bought it. Like I would buy and invest, to buy and invest. So you have 2 very different stories and a blueprint. To your point, I just want to go through. Here's chapter 4. From birth to age 5 and your checklist of exactly what to do. From 6 to 8, your checklist of exactly what to do. Then we turn the page and we go from 9 to 11, 12 to 15, 16, 17, 18, and beyond. And it's how do you give them the tools? And for me, my kids had businesses at 4 years old. They were jamming. They traveled all over. They worked for me. They worked for the company. They didn't work for me. They worked for a company. They worked the back of the room. They do registration cards. You could, got sold.
Got them early, 4 years old. That's amazing.
Got them early, but then you also employ them. You give them a Roth IRA, and you teach them to continue this entrepreneurial making money venture. Even when my son went to school, went to Georgia. He plays at Georgia Southern for football right now. He still has his own tutoring business. He still tutors. He's becoming a CPA. He's done, some just basic paper and bookkeeping organization. You got to teach him young that, we can't afford it is not a conversation. You can afford anything you want. You teach them entrepreneurially, and then you bring them into the investing. So it's really a toolkit. And the reason I want people to go to, if you're international, probably go to Amazon. But if you're in America, go to makeyourkidsmillionaires.com. The website's up and it has thousands of dollars of bonuses. So one of the things that I teach my kids, and I want to give you one fun strategy, is never pay your kids an allowance. If you pay them an allowance, there's no defined tasks of what they exactly have to do. So I teach you how to negotiate tasks, and then they can design their monthly income. And you start this at 3 and 4 years old. And parents are like, what? I'm like, no, let them make what they want. You're going to pay somebody else to do these things. If they want to clean your garage, they want to mow your lawn, they want to detail your car. Let these kids be a part of your life. It's just I could tell parenting, being a mom is one of my favorite jobs. So Kyle and I wrote a very detailed checklist and a blueprint. How do you do it? So we look forward to sharing it with everyone.
Most people, parents, make one decision along the way. Maybe they buy their kids, $1,000 worth of a mutual fund, and that's about their planning, right? The fact that you can plan at different ages of their growing up, it's almost unheard of. People just don't do that. But now that you mention it, geez, they have that blueprint in front of you. Just makes so much sense. It seems like every parent needs to get a copy of that book, because otherwise, the kid's going to be 20, 30 years old before they start to, if even then, they start figuring things out. And that's a little bit too late.
Well, and also, Eli, I want to go to the opposite side. I have so many grandparents that are buying the book because they have kids in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they are millionaires going, oh, I'm about to hand my kids that are uneducated a whole bunch of money. So that's a whole group of people who should read it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You just play catch up and you get your structures right so you can have generational wealth. The worst thing you can do to kids is die and hand them a mess or hand them your plan, and they weren't included in the plan. So they have to deal with what you had, and all sorts of mistakes make is why most people are broke, is they have no plan and they don't talk about it. So we give you, how do you start a conversation at home? How do you do anything? And at any point too, if I could give another site, I have a website called Ask Loral, AskLoral. You can ask me any question 24 hours a day. I have a whole team that answers. You can go to my YouTube and get the answers. Like, I have made myself so available to help people get this right, Eli. It's like my passion. Like, stop doing it wrong. And I think people do it wrong, not because they want to. The information that's out there is really conflicting and difficult to sometimes implement. So I try to make it super simple, super fun, super practical, so anybody can start.
So Laurel, I want to go nail this down to the what I call the but people, the people who brought but Laurel, but what if it doesn't work? But Laurel, but what if, I lose my income and how am I going to, fend for myself? And there's always going to be that but. So there are some people are going to agree and say, yes, I should do this. Yes, this makes sense. Yes, I would love to do it, but I just can't do it.
So I would go to askloral.com, ask me questions, ask questions, go to my YouTube channel, Loral Langemeier, the Millionaire Maker, learn. And you got to get on the side of, I'm going to at least have a conversation with like either me or my team. Because until you can get there, stay broke. And I'm going to say that I'm too far into this career to convince you to have a better life. If you don't realize you could have a better life because you deserve it and you're worth it, some people just love to suffer. And unfortunately, that's too many. But I'm out here on beating the drum saying, you can all do this. Just, you got to learn. So you got to lean in, stop standing back from it. I was in the movie The Secret. So go watch The Secret every day for the next month. Start changing what you can manifest and think about. And like you said, look up, there's a higher power. Mine's called God, and you'll get a lot of help.
What is a worst case scenario? Seriously, is somebody to quit their job?
I wouldn't say quit your job right there. I wouldn't do that. I would say, come lean in, start a company.
Lean in. I like that.
Lean in, get a company going, see that you actually can make some money. Then at a certain time, there is a formula that I've made up of when quitting your job makes sense. That's a decision later, not today. You're not making any decisions. All you're saying is, yes, I'm going to lean in and start learning a little. And then, I might start a little 21st century lemonade, start and make some money. I'm going to start investing my money instead of spending it. And you don't need another big screen TV, and you don't need a car in your driveway. That's more expensive than the tuition or education to learn this stuff. So lean in, start learning, and then the decisions and the sequence will show itself. It's just, don't go out and quit your job and shoot yourself. Like, that's bad. And I literally think too many people do that. They just think, I have this great entrepreneurial vision and dream, and it's going to be all magic and rainbows. No, you've got a lot to learn to be an entrepreneur. You got to learn to market. You have to learn to sell. You got to understand cash flow. You have to understand teams. You have to understand systems. There's so much you have to learn. So much you have to learn.
Is that a 7-day-a-week process to start?
10 minutes a day on my YouTube channel.
10 minutes a day.
That's all.
I like that. Break it down to the easy part. Get your feet wet. Just get out there. Stop thinking, 10 steps ahead, maybe, right? I think that's maybe part of the problem, Laura, right? People think 10 steps ahead, and that just stops them right there. Take those baby steps, just get going, trust in yourself, trust in, if you trust, and again, I like to think of trust in something bigger than yourself, even, that, once you've made that decision, the universe finds a way to flow things your way. I guess you can call it the law of attraction or whatever you want to call it. The Bible, I think, came way before the law of attraction.
Exactly.
Things start to happen when you start to put your foot forward. Anything else you'd like to share with our audience today?
Go ask me a question. Go to askloral.com. Go get my book, Make Your Kids Millionaires, and let's start learning. Go to my YouTube. I have so many assets. You have no excuse. I even have a podcast. You have no excuse to just lean in and say, I'm curious about what this woman talks about and thinks about. There's plenty of places for 10 minutes a day for free. You can start learning and lean in.
We talked about that earlier. You just have to go ahead and make that step. You can't be the kind of person who walks into an elevator, and goes down 10 floors with somebody, says nothing, looks down at your phone. You've got to be able to have a little bit of guts, and trust in yourself and have initiative. Take that first step. So go on Laurel's website and take the action, take the initiative, take that first small baby step and let things evolve. Laurel, thank you so much for your words of wisdom today.
Thank you. And it's been great to be here. And I look forward to hearing from all of you that are going to lean in and start learning about money.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We love our listeners, and we believe you have greatness within you. If you like the Motivation Show, We appreciate you subscribing, rating, and reviewing us. Check out EliMarcusSuccess.com to hear more inspiring shows and to read our motivational blog. That's EliMarcusSuccess.com.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.